Job done 110-93 versus the Toronto Raptors, a very good team, mind you, in the Eastern Conference. And look, big game, credit can be served in a variety of ways. You can go 3 starters with at least 20 or more, led by DeAndre Ayton, a perfect night for him. We'll dive into that. Him and Luka with 25. You got the 41 on the second night of a back-to-back, pouring in 24. You're plus 21 from deep, and not to mention, as I just clarified for Chris McGee from downtown, you hold your opponent to a season-low 93. Pick your poison. It was a good night for the Lakers.
It's a perfect storm tonight, coming off a loss. Getting some key players back gives the team just enough confidence from the beginning. You're getting Rui back. You're getting 2 centers back, in Ayton and Hayes. And so when you have players together, and of course JJ's been putting a lot of emphasis on the defense, and these guys know they are better defenses they've been showing. So a good night to get that going again, when you get some familiar faces on the floor. And then I thought the execution was great. I thought the defense was good. Toronto did get some offensive rebounds. It gave them some opportunities to hit some threes to get them back in the game. But I thought overall, Ayton, I thought Marcus Smart doing a pretty good job handling his position. And then, just a good team effort on the defensive end, Fish.
Yeah, no, the team looked connected. I mean, sometimes the struggles can not demoralize you as though you're giving up, but everything feels heavier. I thought JJ mentioned in some pregame sound about the joy for how they play when they're playing well and things are going well. They haven't lost that entirely. And you got a chance to see that tonight with main guys back on the floor. They didn't look like a team that has lost belief in who they are and what they can accomplish. And this is a great quality win, especially before getting out on the road and not seeing your home court for a while. Always felt like these were like 2 wins just because of how difficult it is out on the road. You do not want to lose that last home game.
It's also a great sign when you come off a post-game presser from your head coach less than 24 hours ago and hear the word joy tonight after hearing him talk about how challenging things have been lately, especially for the Lakers. And so to be able to flip that around is a great sign in terms of just the quickness to bounce back. But also, you mentioned guys being healthy, back in action. So tonight you get your 2 bigs back. You get Luka Doncic back, of course. But with DeAndre Ayton, I want to give some love there because we've talked a lot about him and he's been candid about it too, wanting to be more involved and be able to make an impact. It's one thing to say it. It's another to follow through with actions. And on a performance like tonight, when you pour in 25, but you're perfect 10 of 10, the 13 rebounds, big game, just the locked in, the focused, the block from him. It's a big night for DA.
You need him.
Yeah.
You need him every night. You got to focus on allowing him to do this every night. Now, he's not going to score 25 points every night. He's not going to go 10 for 10, but he does have to be a threat. He's so efficient in that area right there. When he gets it in the paint, he can hit the 12-footer. He makes really good decisions when they collapse on him and getting it back out. So why not let that be a part of your strategy every night? Keep him involved. When he's catered to, he'll give you some good production, high performance, and a really good effort. Sometimes when he's out on the perimeter, maybe the ball's not moving as much as it should be. I'm not sure. But he got some nice over-the-top lobs. He got some nice jump hooks. Just being on the floor and the way he moves and puts pressure on the defense is a big asset for the Lakers.
It's really hard to score in the NBA just playing one-on-one isolation basketball. And, as we think about this team, DeAndre Ayton's screening, which is something that the coaching staff has spoken about before, his screening is what starts offensive advantage for the Lakers a lot of times. Luka's really good at one-on-one. That's not LeBron's best attribute at this point in his career. So you're really relying on pick and roll and screening actions to start creating advantages numerically. And so DeAndre being back in the lineup, it's not just to pick and roll with him getting lobs or the 2 points himself, but it starts the defense in rotation. And then it allows more guys to get involved. And, Rui being able to get back on the floor and have 10, 11 field goals again tonight, those are all good signs. But it starts with kind of DeAndre anchoring the offense with the screening. and then the 13 rebounds to finish defensive possessions off.
You mentioned defense, and when I listened to what you were saying, I'll come back to you on this, Fish. It also, I feel like what you're saying is it's kind of screaming the role delineation and understanding your role and playing that to a T night in and night out. And I want to transition this conversation just a bit because Jared Vanderbilt, Mike Trudell gave a huge hit there in the fourth quarter until he got that steal and had that nice little in and out move, hesitation, had the fans loving it in the open floor there. He hadn't taken a single shot. But he's got 9 rebounds. He's got 2 steals, a block, an assist, 2 blocks, plus 25. When you talk about coming together as a team, everyone has a role to play. Everyone has a part to play. And he's a guy that he doesn't necessarily need to score the basketball. You want him to hit the open shot when it's there. But that kind of impact, you can't put a price on it.
No, you cannot. And you need guys on quality championship contending teams to be able to accept that as their role. With LeBron and Luka out and Austin Reaves out, it's easy to start to feel like maybe you should be more involved offensively. And so you could almost struggle at times when those guys are out, when you're more of a role player, low volume guy, because you're trying to figure out, well, where are your shot opportunities? On a night like tonight, with Luka back in the lineup, Rui back in the lineup, LeBron, now I'm not thinking about offense at all. I don't even have to make that a part of my focal energy. It's rebounding. And I'm sure the coaching staff on a back-to-back spent some time watching some clips, watching some film, kind of helping Vando recenter himself on, like, these are the things we need for you to impact in terms of winning. He was able to go out and do it tonight.
Allie, when my mother played basketball back in the late 40s, they had 6 women on the court. 3 on offense and 3 on defense, and they never crossed the court. Vanderbilt's one of those guys is defense. That's like Fish just said it. He don't need to score. He don't care about, making buckets unless he has an opportunity like that. But you mentioned his stats, the thing that he gets, rebounds, blocks, 9 rebounds. But there are so many other things that he does on the floor that his teammates recognize that they need him. A stunt here, a little help here, just a helping get back. Little things that he does that don't show up on the stat sheet that coaches absolutely love. He puts pressure on people. He's always handsy, and you just can't measure everything that he does because he does a lot for the team on that end.
You know how much fun it would be if we could go back to only playing one end of the floor? 3 on one, 3 on the other. That's what I gathered from that. A lot of guys
would enjoy that.
Fish should be on the defensive end.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the defensive end. That's 7 straight wins.
Start the second, and what did you see with, was it Jackson Harris?
It was DA.
Yeah. So what did you see from kind of thinking, hey, this is a spot, we want to put him in, give him a shot, and how did you feel like he did?
Oh, he was great. He certainly earned a spot coming off last night where he played phenomenal, and you get the clipboard. Just we had talked about it, so I knew it was coming. But it's still like a little jarring to see the Bando, Drew, Da, like it's LeBron. It's a big lineup, and they did a good job of playing out of the post during that stretch, and we also were able to get some stops and run. So I thought they did a good job.
JJ, you can run stats and figure out the first player to do this, it's then or whatever, but it's DA is the 3rd player in Laker history to go at least 10 for 10 with 10 rebounds. It's him, Wilton, Mitch Kupchak, all time. Just how good was he tonight for you, and what did you see in addition to the efficiency, just like spirit-wise from him?
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I mean, he's had a number of these games where he scores efficiently, but really just from a production standpoint to get, 20 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, that he's had games like this. It's a huge thing for our team, particularly against teams that read, and that's where I thought he made a huge difference today. There were a couple passes early that we threw to him. One was a lob. One was we were trying to get a steal in early offense for him, and we didn't get him the ball. One was, a little high on the lob, and then the other one got deflected. And I thought our guys just continued to trust him. And, as the game progressed, he made some really tough catches in traffic, and then was able to score the basketball.
Rui hit a
third quarter when it was kind of anybody's game, and it didn't seem like he had as much rhythm since he came back from the calf prior to tonight. What did you see out of what was working for him?
Yeah, well, there was a game earlier this week where he felt like he made a few shots, and then last night, got into a little bit of the rhythm. So it's starting to come. The minutes restriction, I think, for him is tough. We were able to expand that tonight. We still had a couple minutes left there on the total, but those shots. I told the team this after. Those were big shots for us. They really helped. When you're getting stops in a game like this, they're top 3 defense. In a game like this, where it's hard to score and it's a low possession game and it can be a little muddy, those shots were huge for us.
JJ, I feel like I asked version of this Tuesday when you had 140 some points against the Hawks. Like the fact that you're able to get these kind of performances from your team on the second nights of these back-to-backs during the stretch, like how do you feel like you can build on that for the rest of the season?
Yeah, this is a very tough time of year for everybody in the NBA right now, and for the teams, and there are a number of teams that have rotation players, starter level players, all-star level players like us that are out of the lineup or in and out of the lineup. It can make an already difficult stretch of the season even more difficult, and the guys have done a great job of just getting through this stretch, fighting, and really we're starting to get healthy, and hopefully we get AR back soon. 2 very different games, to be honest with you. This was this was a 95 possession game, so a very low possession game, and the Atlanta was up and down and back and forth and a lot of transition. But we knew that for us against their defense, we had to slow this thing down, and that's where the zone came into play.
So Drew just transitioned out and wondered, obviously you saw his performance last night, and you had a couple of moments with him on the court tonight. What do you make of a guy, coming in like that, playing out of position and finding a way to contribute like that? Very good for him. He made some big plays today. Obviously he played great yesterday, but just to not play before and then just come in, we asked him to do some things and he did it. So it's unbelievable. How did the groin feel for you? It's okay. Not bad. So, do you think it's something that you're just going to kind of have to deal with for a little bit, or do you feel like it impacts you? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but obviously going to try to play through it. And then last one for me, what did you see defensively from the group tonight? I think it was one of the best defensive games we had. They scored 93 points, which is awesome. Gives us a better chance to win. Playing physical, playing fast, and I think we did a great job today.
Luka, what did you make of sort of DeAndre's spirit tonight? Obviously, the numbers are what they were, but just kind of the way he approached the game tonight.
Oh, very good. When he plays like this, focus on both ends, it helps us a lot. It helps us win games, and that's what we need for him.
Luka, when do you feel your best when it comes to your three-pointer? Obviously, you're taking a lot of them off the dribble, and I feel like last week or so, there's been a bit of an uptick there. When does that ball feel best for you?
Oh, yeah. Lately, I've been shooting a little bit better, but still far from I know what I can do. I don't know when it feels the best. Just having my legs and then getting to the shot.
Luka, how mindful do you want to be in terms of looking for DeAndre, making sure you're feeding him the ball? I think JJ was saying that he wanted you guys to focus on making sure he got some touches, especially early in games, not necessarily just today, but in recent games.
Yeah, like I said, it's very important. He's a very important guy for us, very important on both ends of the floor. So we got to look for him a lot. We got to look for him more, and if he plays like this, it gives us a way better chance to win.
Luka, you guys have an 8-game trip coming up. How do you try to approach a long trip like this?
Same way. We're getting paid to do this. Shouldn't be any excuses. So I know it's going to be a lot of traveling, but we get paid to do this, and I love it.
Tonight was game 41 for you guys. What would you say about the first half of the season, and what are the things you'd like to see in the second half?
Oh, it's not a bad record. Obviously, it could be better. But then sometimes if we play like this and we play like we played against Atlanta, it gives us a lot of better chance to win. So just got to look at those 2 games and play like that.
Luka, the 93 points, I believe, is the lowest amount of points you guys have allowed this season. Why do you think the defense found so much success tonight?
We just listen to our coverage, playing fast, talking on the court. So I think those three main things for us.
Thank you, Luka.
Cute.
It was pretty crazy, man. I mean, like, that's the GOAT. Like, to be able to share the court with him, especially being a G League team, like, that's so outside of the normal of anything. It was crazy, but I think it just shows, like, how connected the two programs are, and it's super cool. He came down, and that's our job, was to help him get back and, to get back in the game speed. So we were just glad to help, and it was really cool to be able to hoop with them.
When you guys went live 5-on-5, were you on his same team at all? And then was there any chemistry or connection in those runs?
I was on his team, yeah, and I was just trying to get him the ball in his spots. I mean, whatever he needed me to do, I was going to try and do. So it was fun.
Was there anything you learned from him about the game of basketball and how you can apply it to what you do?
Yeah, especially with this new role that I've had with South Bay, especially like being more of a ball handler and playing more on the perimeter and stuff. Just how he was able to get to his spots. He just looked like he was never sped up. The game's in slow motion for him. And to see him, how he attacked different things, I was just kind of watching as a fan and a student. And it was cool. And I try to just pick up a couple little things from him, especially when I'm playing with South Bay.
The NBA scenario never ceases to amaze us, and the league's backstage continues to boil with movements that could completely redefine the balance of power among franchises, especially when we talk about a team with the magnitude and historical weight of the Los Angeles Lakers. An organization that breathes greatness and has always been at the center of the biggest negotiations, and transfers that marked an era in American professional basketball. And at this exact moment, three specific situations are dominating conversations in NBA corridors and deeply stirring the imagination and anxiety of fans who wear purple and gold. Because we are talking about possibilities that range from contract extensions that could define the franchise's future to tactical and specific adjustments that can make all the difference in the team's defensive performance throughout this season that is already proving to be absolutely decisive for the organization's direction in the coming years with each of these. Developments carrying the potential to either elevate the Lakers back to championship contention or set them back for years if mishandled by the front office. If you are following this content and want to stay on top of everything that happens with the Lakers and the hottest NBA moves, hit that like button on the video to strengthen the channel and ensure you don't miss any important information that could completely change the course of your favorite team. The most explosive and delicate situation that is shaking up the entire Lakers structure at this moment involves Austin Reaves and his upcoming contract extension, an issue that has become infinitely more complex due to public statements made by Rich Paul, LeBron James' agent, suggesting that the team should consider trading the young guard for a player like Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Memphis Grizzlies. And according to recent reports from Kevin O'Connor, several teams are preparing to make maximum contract offers to Reaves in the upcoming free agency, with the Utah Jazz being specifically mentioned as having significant interest in acquiring the 27 points per game scorer who has become one of the central pieces of the Lakers offense. The situation has created an extremely uncomfortable dynamic within the organization, especially considering that Reaves declined a maximum extension last offseason, knowing he could earn more money by entering free agency this year, where he can receive up to 25% of the projected salary cap, which would represent approximately $41.5 million annually. And Rich Paul's podcast appearances where he openly discusses what moves the Lakers should make have reportedly frustrated Lakers executives and other organization members who feel this undermines Rob Pelinka's authority and the front office while creating unnecessary distractions during a critical stretch of the season. The most controversial suggestion came when Paul pitched a hypothetical trade sending Reaves to Memphis in exchange for Jaren Jackson Jr., arguing that if the Lakers are building around Luka Doncic, they need that defensive anchor. But Jaren Jackson Jr. doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. And if they can trade expiring contracts and trade at least that last first-round pick, they can withhold and give up less. It comes with a more unemotional attachment to Austin because he is super beloved by the fans, and there is a world where they can go out and make a move that is best for their team. The proposed trade package would involve the Lakers trading away Reaves and somehow also giving up a draft pick despite the fact that Reaves is putting up ridiculous statistics. And while the defensive argument makes sense, given that both Reaves and Doncic are considered poor defenders, Jackson Jr. averages 18.8 points per game and five rebounds while being one of the best shot blockers in the entire NBA. Though he fouls frequently, isn't really a center, but more of a forward who can play center, will definitely upgrade the team defensively, but deals with injury issues himself. And the question becomes whether Jackson Jr. and Doncic would be good enough to carry the team to a championship, especially considering they would still need to find scoring to replace what they lose in Reaves and would face challenges addressing their perimeter defense needs. Because honestly, it's not just paint defense. They need perimeter defense almost more than interior defense. And if they trade away Reaves for Jackson Jr., they still won't have any perimeter defense, making the trade somewhat counterproductive unless they can use other assets to address those needs simultaneously. Thinking about this situation objectively, I believe the Lakers find themselves in an incredibly precarious position that could define their next decade. Because while Reaves has undeniably taken a superstar leap this season and has been absolutely phenomenal for the team, the defensive concerns are legitimate and cannot be ignored when building a championship caliber roster. The reality is that you simply cannot have two poor defenders in Doncic and Reaves as your primary backcourt and expect to compete against elite teams in playoff situations, as we witnessed when Reaves got exposed by the Minnesota Timberwolves defense last year. Though admittedly that was a horrible matchup with the Timberwolves having extremely lengthy defenders and Rudy Gobert anchoring the paint. However, considering the circumstances, trading away a player of Reaves' caliber and adding assets like a first-round pick for someone who is constantly hurt and hasn't really been that impactful when the Grizzlies were at the top of the Western Conference seems short, especially when you factor in that Ja Morant was playing at a superstar level during those successful Memphis campaigns. The fundamental issue here appears to be that Rich Paul's public comments have created unnecessary pressure and tension within the organization. And while his intentions might be to help LeBron's championship window, the execution has been clumsy and potentially damaging to team chemistry. I believe the Lakers need to make a decision quickly about Reaves' future, but selling low on a player who is clearly one of the best guards in the NBA due to narrative-driven concerns would be a mistake that could haunt the franchise for years, particularly when there are other avenues to improve the team's defense without sacrificing their most consistent offensive weapon outside of their superstars. The second major story that has been gaining tremendous momentum in recent days involves Drew Timme and his absolutely spectacular NBA debut after receiving meaningful minutes for the first time this season. An opportunity that arose when the Lakers didn't have DeAndre Ayton or Jackson Hayes available, forcing head coach Jim Redick to give a chance to the 25-year-old former Gonzaga standout who had been absolutely dominating in the G League with impressive averages of 25.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 4.0 assists in just 6 games for the South Bay Lakers before being promoted to a two-way contract in what many considered a low-risk, high-reward move by the organization. Timme finished his first significant NBA appearance with a remarkable 21 points on an extremely efficient 9 of 12 field goal shooting, including an impressive 3 of -4 from the three-point line, plus 4 assists and 2 steals in 29 minutes of play, demonstrating exactly the type of offensive versatility and floor spacing that the Lakers have been desperately seeking from their center rotation. Because unlike the more traditional big men in Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Ayton, Timme offers the invaluable ability to stretch the floor with consistent three-point shooting, which completely opens up driving lanes for players like LeBron James and Luka Doncic, while also providing the kind of basketball IQ and playmaking that has been missing from the Lakers' front court rotation. Timme's versatility becomes immediately apparent when analyzing fast break situations where he can seamlessly position himself on the three-point line and convert passes from teammates like Rui, something that Hayes and Ayton simply cannot execute with the same level of reliability and confidence. And in half-court offensive sets, particularly pick-and-roll situations, Timme has demonstrated that he can both attack the basket aggressively and step away to create space for shooters, keeping opposing defenses in constant uncertainty about how to defend him effectively. The former Gonzaga star also possesses significantly above-average court vision and passing ability that allows him to make the correct reads when defenses collapse on him. And we witnessed this multiple times during his debut when he made several impressive passes that led directly to scoring opportunities for his teammates, showcasing the type of unselfish basketball and team-first mentality that often separates role players who succeed in the NBA from those who struggle to find consistent minutos What makes Timme's emergence even more intriguing is that he provides solutions to several problems the Lakers have been facing with their current roster construction, particularly the lack of big men who can handle the ball effectively, create offense for others, and provide reliable outside shooting. Because when LeBron is not on the court and with Doncic currently injured, the Lakers desperately need players who can facilitate offense and make the correct basketball plays without turning the ball over or forcing difficult shots. Considering this development more deeply, I believe Timme's performance represents exactly the type of pleasant surprise that championship teams often discover during the course of a long season. And while he certainly has defensive limitations due to his lack of elite athleticism and strength, his offensive contributions and basketball intelligence could make him a valuable rotation piece if he continues to develop and adapt to the speed of NBA play. The fact that he was able to immediately contribute in meaningful minutes suggests that his college success, where he was a 3-time All-American and the program's all-time leading scorer, translates well to the professional level when given the right opportunity and role within the team's system. Thinking about the Lakers' long-term roster construction, Timme could potentially serve as a natural replacement for players like Maxi Kleber, who has been inconsistent and frequently injured while making significantly more money than his production warrants. And if Timme can continue to demonstrate this level of efficiency and impact, he might force his way into regular rotation minutes even when the team is at full health. The key will be whether he can maintain this performance level over a larger sample size and improve his defensive positioning and awareness. Because while he shows good instincts as a help defender and has decent footwork when staying in front of guards on switches, he lacks the physical tools to be an impact rim protector or rebounder against more athletic opponents. I believe the Lakers have stumbled upon a potentially valuable asset in Timme, and if they're smart about his development and usage, he could become the type of versatile big man who provides crucial depth and flexibility in playoff rotations. The third situation that is creating significant ripple effects throughout NBA circles and could directly impact the Lakers' trade deadline strategy involves Benedict Mathurin and the Indiana Pacers, who, according to well-connected insider Evan Sidori, are actively shopping the talented 23-year-old wing guard after failing to reach an extension agreement that would keep him in Indianapolis beyond his current rookie contract, with the Pacers specifically targeting a starting caliber center who can provide a long-term solution at a position where they have struggled to find consistency and defensive presence. One of the most intriguing options that could potentially become available through this type of trade scenario is DeAndre, who Indiana had previously shown serious interest in during his restricted free agency period by making an offer sheet that Ayton actually signed before the Phoenix Suns ultimately matched the proposal. And according to multiple reports from credible sources like Jack Fisher and other well-connected NBA insiders, the Lakers internally don't view Ayton as their long-term franchise center or the defensive anchor they need to compete at the highest level. Despite his obvious talent and production when properly utilized in the right system, the possibility of acquiring someone with Mathurin's youth, Upside, El Mahete, and two-way potential could be exactly what the Lakers need to address their chronic lack of depth and athleticism on the wing positions, because Mathurin is only 23 years old and has already shown the ability to score efficiently at the NBA level while possessing the physical tools and defensive instincts to potentially develop into a legitimate two-way player, and such an acquisition could allow the Lakers to also pursue other young athletic wings like Jonathan Kuminga from the Golden State Warriors, creating a completely revamped roster construction that emphasizes youth, versatility, and long-term upside over veteran experience. The challenge with trading Ayton, however, lies in the fact that while he may not be the perfect fit for the Lakers' current system and playing style, when he was performing at his peak level with the Phoenix Suns, he was surrounded by an ideal supporting cast, including Chris Paul's elite playmate, Devin Booker's scoring gravity, and athletic two-way wings like Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson who could handle perimeter defense and floor spacing, allowing Ayton to focus exclusively on protecting the rim and dominating individual post-up situations without being asked to carry too much of the offensive load or cover for defensive deficiencies elsewhere on the roster. The fundamental problem with Ayton in the Lakers' current system is that without elite perimeter shooting and defensive wings surrounding him, opposing teams can simply pack the paint and make it extremely difficult for him to operate effectively, whether that's securing rebounds when he has to fight through multiple defenders or scoring consistently when his mid-range jumper isn't falling at a high percentage. And this limitation becomes even more pronounced when you consider that the Lakers are planning to retain Austin Reaves long-term, which means they need a center who can complement that backcourt rather than requiring specific pieces around him to maximize his effectiveness. The potential trade framework being discussed involves multiple moving pieces, with the Lakers possibly turning Ayton into Mathurin while simultaneously addressing their center position through other means, such as trading for someone like N.I.C. Claxton from the Brooklyn Nets, who reportedly could be acquired for a single first-round pick. And the Lakers are supposedly trying to convert one first-round pick into multiple picks through various transactions, which could theoretically allow them to acquire Claxton with one pick while using additional assets to pursue high-level role players like Herb Jones from the New Orleans Pelicans. The alternative option would involve working out a deal for Nick Richards, as the Charlotte Hornets are reportedly shopping him and looking to clear approximately $400,000 in salary cap space, which could potentially be accomplished through a relatively simple trade involving someone like Dalton Knecht, though this would require the Lakers to execute additional salary clearing moves to make the mathematics work under the collective bargaining agreement. Analyzing this complex situation more thoroughly, I believe the Lakers face a critical decision point that will define their competitive window for the next several years. Because while Ayton possesses undeniable talent and has proven he can be an effective starting center in the right circumstances, the Lakers' inability to surround him with the specific types of players who maximize his effectiveness suggests that moving him for a younger, more versatile piece like Mathurin could be the right strategic move. The key consideration here is that Mathurin represents exactly the type of young, athletic wing who could grow alongside the Lakers' core while providing immediate contributions, and his ability to score efficiently from all three levels while possessing the physical tools to potentially become a solid defender makes him an ideal target for a team looking to balance present competitiveness with future flexibility. Thinking about the broader roster construction implications, if the Lakers could somehow execute trades that result in acquiring both Mathurin and a reliable backup center like Richards or Claxton, while potentially adding a defensive specialist like Herb Jones, they would fundamentally transform their team identity from an aging, defensively challenged roster to a more athletic, versatile group that could compete both now and in the future. However, the complexity of executing multiple trades simultaneously while managing salary cap constraints and avoiding the luxury tax penalties makes this type of roster overhaul extremely difficult to accomplish, particularly given that other teams are aware of the Lakers' needs and may demand premium prices for their available players. I believe the Lakers should seriously consider moving Ayton if they can acquire someone with Mathurin's upside, but only if they have a clear plan for replacing Ayton's production and addressing their center position. Because trading away a productive starter without having adequate replacement options could leave them worse off in the short term while waiting for younger players to develop into consistent contributors.